Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 164.
Whoa, 164.
The big 164, and next week will be the big 165.
Perfect square plus 100.
Hey, we don't know that. We might not have a podcast.
This might be the last podcast.
It's the last video we're ever doing.
I suddenly lost the will to do it, so.
Why? Because it's the last one?
Yeah, I mean.
You just want to make the one we did last week the last one now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
So
I mean, what's the point of living anyway?
Nothing. There's no point.
It's got to end on a 5 or a 0.
I mean, the only reason that I'm hanging on this long already is for Kingman. I'm hoping for Kingsman 3, and once that comes out.
Was Kingsman 2 any good?
No, it was not.
I heard it wasn't.
It was too far up its own asshole.
Oh.
You know how like John Wick was a little bit up its
you mean
asshole?
like the princess in
John
the
Wick
first
2?
movie?
That was actually one of the better parts of this movie. Is they brought that character back, and she actually had a really cool like role in the story.
I was making an anal sex joke.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
Although you know
what bugs me about Fallout 4 specifically?
Oh, shit.
What?
Just turn around, Aaron.
Hang on.
Oh, after you kill this guy and him.
Oh, fuck. There's a bunch of them.
All right, I'll just say it. Sometimes you get lighting on the tip of your gun here. See that? And
Yeah.
it, like... Sometimes it doesn't look like it should be there.
Yeah, like just then.
Yeah, just then. And it, like, moves when you... It doesn't move when you turn.
Oh, you're a settler. Well, I shouldn't have been there.
I've come to help!
It feels like the lighting on the gun isn't actual lighting in the game world.
Yeah.
It's
probably separated.
It's in the engine so that, like, as you move, lighting on your gun moves, but it's not necessarily tied to what, is actually going on. Lookup failed. You broke your game.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about, because it's not even a mod. It's just supposed to be in the game already.
Yeah, I guess you gotta uninstall it all and...
That's fine. I know what it is. It's either soup or antibiotics. Is what I need. Fuck off, dog meat.
You know what my main problem with this game is?
What?
Just because we're playing it. The fact that I feel like the character that I want to... Like, if I'm going to roll... The whole... Because, the whole point of the game is you're a parent looking for... Whose spouse was killed.
You're making me so hard right now, Adam. Praise the role-playing...
Well, I'm just, like...
Complaints,
You...
Complain about it.
Your primary mission should be looking for your son. And I get, getting distracted along the way as you get involved in the different activities, but it never feels like you're getting distracted. It's more like checkpoints check marks on a list, as opposed to being like legitimately like getting like caught up in helping other settlements.
It's really hard to play through Fallout 4 without becoming a shitty parent along the way.
Yeah. And, like, if you want to become a shitty parent, that's fine. That's actually great role-playing.
If it ties into the character you're playing.
Yeah. Because I like the idea of, like, of a character, of a mother fighting, to get her son back, but she gets caught up in, becoming... Suddenly she's very powerful in this wasteland. And I like the idea that she, eventually... kind of loses track along the way of what she was originally attempting to do, but not really. But I don't know. I have a specific idea.
There's a very specific point in the story where it's a good time to break off and do things around the wasteland. But realistically, in that game, you've already played around in the wasteland a long time before reaching that point in the main quest.
Yeah, if that's how you play it. I've already played through this, obviously, and this is heavily modded, in case you're wondering.
We were playing survival mode, right?
It is a survival run-through in a heavily modified Fallout 4. But knowing where the story goes, I've kind of been able to find a way to role-play the game in such a way that you can do what the game wants you to do, because there's really only one linear story, but also role-play it so that it makes sense to my character.
How so?
In the way, like, you first go and find Nick Valentine. Like, I went to Diamond City, found him.
So do you save... Oh my god. I like this game. I don't remember.
Preston Gravy?
Preston Gravy, yes. Pressed in Gravy. Do you find him in Concord?
I think that you have to do that anyway.
You don't have to do that.
Oh,
No.
you don't? Okay.
No.
I
But
think I
it's-
did it.
it's-
In fact, there's extra dialogue if you go and do like Nuka World and stuff first. If you go and do
Okay.
that first, and then
Can you?
Yeah, and become like a
This is all
raider,
weird
and then you go
looking.
to Conquer. He's like,
'Cause
I know
as far
you,
as I'm
you're-
aware-
you're a piece of shit.
Where are we?
Right here.
Because, like, I know you modded the game, but this looks nothing like Fallout 4, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, it's been 200 years, so there should be some trees.
There should be some trees.
Well, there are trees, just not.
They're
there's
shitty,
not-
though.
This is how it, in my mind, it should look.
Well, does the Boston area look like this in real life?
Would after 200 years of...
Well,
not have-
what I mean is, are these trees and is the flora and fauna indigenous to the
Oh, I don't know.
New England area?
I hope so.
I think it should be, but
Probably is. It might not be.
Don't know.
but-
So
think matters.
I read this comic a while back, and basically all it is it's a woman in a vault dweller jumpsuit, and she looks down at a ring that she's holding, and the weight and the value comes up, and they're both like 9999999, and then she startles and she looks again, and then it's just back to normal, and it's a really powerful comic. Here, read it.
This will be good for the podcast.
Well, I can
look
send
at
you.
this comic, everybody.
But what I'm saying is that's the character I want to play. A mother very desperately trying to get her son back.
Oh yeah.
And then ultimately,
It's
you know,
kinda touching,
what
actually.
what she does, what happen, you know, what would she do when she finds out that her son is older and evil, essentially, not evil. Well, you know,
Well, yeah.
not to bog down the conversation morality, but you know, is no longer the innocent child she had, but now a grown man who's made his
That is
own decisions.
older than she is.
Older than she is, made many of his own
Full on
decisions.
Interstellar.
And many of them have been, let's call them, morally questionable.
Yeah.
You know, what would you do as a mother if you were one in the situation? I don't know. I like to
Yeah.
role play, but
Dad.
you can't.
Yeah.
I like the idea of playing as a mother this time, though, because every other Fallout
Makes less sense in the story.
what, the mother?
Yes.
Why?
Because so Nora is a lawyer.
Yeah,
It's established that she's a lawyer.
and the father
And
is
suddenly, and the father is like an infantryman, or at least was involved in the war against China. So it makes sense for Nate to be an expert in firearms and instantly able to use the power armor well.
see.
It makes less sense for Nora.
See, when I was playing through, not my first time, because the first time I was just like, I'll do whatever the hell I want, because I'm just kind of want to explore the wasteland. But I went back and I tried to do like a role play, playthrough,
Yeah.
and I actually had it so that I wouldn't I wrote up a list of like things I wasn't allowed to do in the game. So I wasn't allowed to aim down sights with my gun until I put like 3 ranks into pistols, and I wasn't able to get in the Fallout in the power armor until I put like some ranks in the strength.
Hey man,
and stuff.
brother, that's hardcore. That's good.
It didn't
That's
last
awesome.
long because the game's very hard if you
Yeah.
don't do that. But it was cool trying to do it, and I wish there was. I'm sure there's mods out there that do it better. But I was just because I'm so used to aiming down sights, I kept being like, no, I can't do that shit.
Yeah.
I would break immersion. But I was trying real hard. I actually had to take my hold the controller differently so my finger wouldn't be around the left trigger. But it was
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't get very far in it, but because there's not a lot of options to role play anyway.
Yeah.
So which is disappointing. I'd like to do this as a pen and paper RPG. I think that would be a really cool experience. But
Yeah.
anyway, there's a reason that we're playing Fallout 4 again, as not just because Aaron likes playing
okay.
the survival mod.
Yeah, we'll move on. I didn't finish my thought, but we'll move on.
Oh, sorry. What was your thought, Aaron?
Well, Andrew asked how so, and I never got to finish my explanation.
My apologies, Aaron. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So, I don't remember the exact beginning of the game, because I actually started this survival playthrough a long time ago. But I guess once you get past that, I mean, there's a lot of kind of foregone conclusions as to why a lot of this stuff happens the way it does. But in terms of, trying to play more of, a roguish character, you can kind of have it make more sense where, you go and the game wants you to do something specific, and there's no option but to say yes or I'll do it later. So it's like you go to Nick Valentine, and this chick is like, hey, will you help me find Nick? And I'm like, nope. It's like, I'm not helping you do this shit. I'm looking for my son. But then you ask around, and people are like, this Nick guy can probably help you find your son. And you're like, God damn it. Well, now I got to go help Nick.
Yeah.
So it's like you're it's still the same kind of linear narrative, but you're giving yourself like a or like a narrative explanation as to
you
why
do have to metagame a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth metagaming to get a better roleplay experience out of it.
Yep. I'm having fun with it so far.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, the roleplay in this is good as long as you're playing kind of the character that Bethesda wants you to play.
Yeah.
If you try to experiment too much, then it
there's
kinda
really
all
not a
falls
whole lot
apart.
of room for experimentation. I mean, you're a mother looking for your son, so there's very
And that's why New Vegas is
Yeah.
much better in terms of role playing.
Well, the situation that's presented in the beginning of New Vegas is ultimately one that's more open than this one.
Yeah, you can be literally whoever.
Because you can even roleplay like have a headcanon going where you're like, before maybe I was a really evil kingpin, but the bullet gave me brain damage, and now I'm not that way at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only background info, there's some background info you get in Lonesome Road that you've been an established courier for a while.
Yeah.
And you delivered a package to...
But you don't have to play Lonesome Road.
You don't have to play the DLC, no. But in terms of Courier 6, that is an established thing that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, you could like headcanon anything. Like, why were you a courier? Maybe you were like a mid-level mafia guy, and you had to do this one favor.
I mean,
or something.
who knows? It's up to you.
But like Fallout 3 was not as good for that either, because you're looking for your dad essentially.
And it's established that you've lived in the vault at least most of your life.
Yeah, and the people you know are established. It's kind of pretty set in stone who you are.
Is Fallout New Vegas the only Fallout game where you don't begin in a vault?
No, Fallout 2, you don't begin in a vault.
Okay. Right, you begin in New Eden.
Oh shit! All right, I'm dead.
No.
All right, well, uninstall the game, Aaron.
That'd be a great mod if it just deleted your entire game download if you died.
There's a miniature EMP in your hard disk.
I forget the name of the village that you start off in.
It's the one that you made at the end of Fallout 1, right?
It's a village that the Vault Dweller establishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't make it at the end of Fallout 1, but your character goes off and makes it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so there's the reason we're playing Fallout anyways, because we got a pretty big on Monday, I believe. Bethesda came out with a teaser image called, just "Please Stand By" with the Fallout kind of test symbol logo that
reminiscent of the Fallout 4 reveal, what they did there.
And so people got excited naturally, and then it was it the next day or the day later we got a trailer.
Yeah, they did a live stream on Monday, I guess it was.
How long did it run for?
It ran for probably about 20, 30 hours or so.
Jesus Christ.
That long?
So yeah, they had it up for, I think it was 7 or 8 hours, and then a dude dressed up in the Vault Boy, like a shitty Vault Boy costume, came out and put a watch on the table where the stream was the Please Stand By screen, and it had a little Vault Boy on a table next to it. And so they put a little watch next to Vault Boy.
Oh, they weren't even doing anything on the stream?
No, it was just the Please Stand By thing. Every now and then they came out with like balloons and party favors and stuff like that.
Yeah, every now and then there was a puppet that came out too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was intentional, but there's a Vault 77, which is right next to
Vault 76.
Vault 76, which we'll get to.
And
I guess in lore, or at least semi-lore, because this was made by Penny Arcade, I believe. The vault was inhabited by one man and a box full of puppets. And
he went insane.
He kind of went insane, yeah.
maybe.
So I don't know if it was intentional. But
Was that made
It was
by
24
Penny
hours.
Was that made by Penny
I
Arcade?
believe so, yeah.
Interesting.
The comic was made anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, maybe it was 24 hours. But then, oh shit. This fucking rocket launcher
Way
guy.
to die.
They came out with a watch and it had 9:45 on it, so everyone assumed, like the watch was still moving, but that was the time that it was set to when they put it on the table. And then, of course, 12 hours later, plus 5 minutes, I guess, so people had time to like come back to the stream. Todd Howard came out and said, "I guess we've waited long enough," and then they played the teaser trailer for
I
Fallout
thought he
76.
came out and said, "Thanks for watching for nothing." And then it just goes black, and then nothing. Nothing happens.
Yeah, there
Todd
was
comes out
some.
and just shoots himself.
There were
in the
some
head.
people saying it's like This is just Bethesda doing a social experiment.
Well, they were kind of playing because it was the 10th anniversary of Fallout 3, and everyone was expecting a Fallout 3 remaster.
Which is probably
Including that
why they
one
were doing
guy.
the balloons and the party
Yeah,
colors.
including the one guy that bet he'd if it wasn't a Fallout 3 remaster, he'd drink a bottle of Tabasco sauce.
Surprise! It wasn't a Fallout 3 remaster.
Yeah. It was cool though with the balloons because the balloons tied into the whole Reclamation Day thing.
Yeah.
In '76, but everyone was thinking that it was for the anniversary of Fallout 3.
What do you mean Reclamation Day?
So, in the trailer for the new Fallout 76, it starts. All we see is inside a Vault 76. It's completely empty.
Country Road plays during this.
Yeah,
That's the song.
as a cover of Country Road.
Yes, it's not the John Denver original, which is disappointing because he's the best.
Yeah, but the
John Denver.
The Don Denver song came out in the 70s, and it didn't have as much of a 50s feeling as this cover did.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason.
I like, though, that the beginning of the teaser trailer almost still played into the anniversary.
Yeah.
Because it starts on those bulbs that are inside of the
tubes.
Yeah, and even did like the the little
Oh, he's not dying.
the sound at the beginning of the song and at the beginning of that trailer.
Aaron, are you experiencing frame rate
shit.
interruptions here?
Yes, but it's Fallout 4. It does that anyway. Alright, I'm dead. Fallout 4 is unoptimized as fuck in the city areas.
Also more unoptimized when you got a lot of mods.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
That's a thick
But
robot.
it's cool that they played into that. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is totally the beginning of the
Anyway.
Fallout 3 trailer. And then
Great
it
song.
zooms out and it's a pit.
Uninhabited Vault. It looks like it's been abandoned. You see one dude at the end with a new kind of Pip-Boy. The date on the Pip-Boy reads October 30th?
October 27th or something like that.
I think 27th is the date the bombs fell, isn't it? I think it's like
maybe it is.
I think it's like 5 years. It's 25 years and 5 days after the bombs fell.
Maybe.
The date is.
Pretty cool. It's my birthday.
How cool?
Anyway, that would make it in 2102, and it would make it the earliest date that we've seen in the Fallout series for a video game to be set in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What else? Anyway, the Reclamation Day. They were celebrating we see the vault atrium, and we see all the balloons, and we see that celebrations had gone off. And they were celebrating the date that the vault opens up, and they go and reclaim the wasteland. That's Reclamation Day.
That didn't work.
What do you mean?
They didn't reclaim the wasteland.
Oh no, they didn't.
They probably all died.
I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe everybody went out. I don't know. I've heard some rumors that you don't play as a vault dweller, you play as a scavenger.
A scavenger that goes back
But
into the vault. Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't make any sense then.
Well, it makes more sense in terms of the trailer and the fact that he's the only one we see.
But why is it called Fallout 76 if the vault just happens to be in the game? There's nobody in it.
I don't think we have enough information to answer that. But in lore, the vault opened 20 years after the bombs, and the date we're seeing in this is 25 years.
Maybe it's 5. Yeah. Okay.
How cool would it be if instead of it being anything related to like the vault or the year or anything like that, they were just going to make 76 copies?
Yeah.
And if you didn't get your copy, like you're fucked.
Yeah.
No digital copies or anything, just 26. Isn't this the place for the behemoth?
Swan. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Is that his name?
Swan.
Yeah. Don't go in there.
Nope.
He's just a behemoth with a broken up swan boat taped to him.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but I remember being like, because you just see the swan boat moving to the water. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And I was super under-leveled, too, and I was like, oh, man. So I had to, like, I basically, I had 2 mini nukes. I don't know how I got them. I huffed both of them at him. It didn't kill him, and I just ran away. And I was like, well, fuck this.
There's a sweet frame right here. TV's not helping it either.
No, I bet it isn't. The best part is that it's consistent, though.
Consistent 20 frames a second. Just
Gotta
like
get
playing
one
it
of
on
those
Xbox.
G-Sync monitors, Aaron. It's not as noticeable then.
So, what is this game supposed to be? Because you guys probably went on a 6-hour tirade on our Facebook Messenger, and what I did is I muted it, and I waited until I looked and I saw.
Do you do that a lot?
Not often. It's usually.
I wish it said that.
What?
Because that'd be great. We'd like a big ass Fallout rant, and then just said Adam has muted the conversation.
So I usually
God.
the only other times I've ever done is when you and Aaron
Quick
go
inside.
on. Oh, you're
all
fucked.
right.
When you and Aaron talk about getting an argument about Star Wars, or
Yeah.
when you get an argument about
Adam
graphics
has
cards,
muted the
I usually
conversation.
nope out of the conversation for a bit because I'm like, if it's not resolved in 2 or 3 messages, I just mute the tab
Oh, the tab. Okay,
I mean,
not
that's
the
fair.
conversation.
or the conversation. Sorry, is what I meant. But so what is this game?
So, we don't know. Nobody knows what the game is. Not really.
I'm hearing a butt coming.
There's been a few leaks, and put big old quotation marks around leaks, because, nobody knows, but Jason Schreier,
They were gonna say Derulo.
no, of Kotaku fame,
Is that really
and
fame?
infamy,
Okay.
he's the one that leaked the Fallout 4 thing a few years back.
Oh yeah.
That was accurate. It basically outlined Fallout 4 pretty well. And as such,
maybe
he was...
Bethesda should find out who he's talking to and
Well,
plug that leak.
Kotaku was actually blacklisted by Bethesda after that. So
I don't.
he's getting info from somebody, but it's not like... He is not on friendly terms with Bethesda at all.
On the one hand, I can kind of understand why Bethesda would do that because he did spoil a lot of the reveal, but at the same time, he's doing his job as a journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give Kotaku that. That was a good scoop.
Yes, I mean, as scumbaggy as he can be, yes, he's,
I'm not agreeing with I'm not agreeing. I'm not saying I like him as a person. I'm just saying there's so little journalism that goes on in games media
Sure,
that's a good job.
Yeah.
That he did. This is refreshing to see.
Anyway, because he got the Fallout 4 thing more or less correct, people are kind of assuming that this new Fallout 76 leak is accurate as well. What he reported on was it was a online survival RPG inspired by games like Rust and DayZ.
I think he
and that
clarified
sort of thing.
after, though, that it wasn't like MMO, like it just had multiplayer elements.
No, and if other leaks are to be believed, the game is made in the Creation Engine, the same engine that we're seeing right now.
This
ain't gonna run an MMO, right? It's gonna run like 2 or 3 players max.
Yeah.
So, unless they're switching engines, I don't see them pushing the online thing to an extent where it becomes a hindrance to the gameplay. Not really, and I'll expand on that in a minute. But yeah, other leaks are saying that it's like Battle Royale mode, and you fly around in a rocket, and you do end up going to like Russia and London and stuff like that.
I like that
But
just
it's
because I
in
know
like
that
maps, and it
I think
sounds real
I think
stupid.
I think that's not it at all.
I hope not.
that sounds.
Why would it be called Fallout 76 and Vault 76 if
Because it's the
you go
first vault to
London?
open, and you're the first people to go out and try to reclaim the wasteland.
I will say,
dumb.
Bethesda, which is a game company that is known for making single player games, for them to get into the battle royale market this late in the battle royale market game, seems fucking ridiculously stupid. It doesn't seem like some. I doubt that that's true. Just
I don't
because it
think-
doesn't. If this was like EA, absolutely, I could absolutely see EA or Ubisoft or whatever doing this. Not Bethesda. I mean, I'm not defending Bethesda here because they made a lot of really fucking terrible decisions over
It's
the years.
also worth noting that it's not just the Bethesda studios that made this Fallout. It's also the Bethesda studios that was formerly making Battlecry. So Battlecry Studios, now part of Bethesda Softworks or whatever, they're also working on this game. So I think it's a combined effort. So there is some online experience there. I don't know if you can call
Oh fuck.
a game that never saw the light of day experience, but they did work on it.
What game? Was
Battlecry.
I don't remember that.
It was
It's like a MOBA or something.
it was like a first-person MOBA. It was what was that Gearbox shitfest that came out?
Oh, Battleborn.
Battleborn. It was like that, I think.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I will say, even though I muted the conversation, I started at the very beginning, and I left, and I came back in at the very end, obviously. Wow.
And you were like, "Wow, these guys didn't go anywhere." And
what it was is you started. I was like, "Oh man, I'm so hyped for this," and I came back. It's like, "This is gonna be total dog shit." I'm like, "There's a tonal shift in terms of the conversation."
Well, more stuff got leaked as we went on.
Yeah, no, it was just really funny to come back in and be like, "What the hell happened here?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, like personally, looking at it, as soon as I saw the announcement, like I know it's been a couple of years since we've had Fallout 4, but it being marketed by Bethesda, not another studio, the trailer and the name, to me, it just kind of suggested, well, like, this isn't a traditional Fallout game. There's something about this that's different. And then, of course, we got the...
Yeah, I didn't get that. I got this was the New Vegas to Fallout 4.
Yeah,
That's what I got out of the trailer.
My initial impression was like, okay, this is...
Hey, Aaron, can you shimmy over to the left about a smidge?
Yeah.
The building like disappears when you look through the ladder.
Yeah, well, it's the LOD. It's probably the INI files. It's some. It
Only a certain number of cells load.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I found the glitch, nurse.
It's the INI adjustment changes a lot of the LODs so that the city doesn't run like dog shit, even though it still runs like dog shit.
I'm glad they fixed that.
Well, it was a mod to fix what Bethesda didn't. So, but yeah, I don't know. My initial impression was that it's called Fallout 76. This is like not an RPG. It's almost like a thriller, maybe a small game, maybe like a 5-hour playthrough. That you get to live in a vault and see like the bullshit that goes on. You know, like kind of like a thriller, maybe almost like a.
That'd be cool. Telltale
game.
Now that you mention it, like
I'd be totally cool with
that. That's what I originally thought, but then of course we got like the Rust ideas and stuff, and then it became like, okay, well, I guess you're a vault dweller, this is your base, and you go out and start building stuff.
I think it's interesting that we didn't see any wasteland footage in the trailer. It was all inside of that vault, which is interesting because normally Bethesda would show that stuff.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like a different kind of tone to the game.
So I'm wondering, I mean, that kind of gives credence to the whole, you exit the vault. Your vault is like a hub, and then you select a map afterwards, and you go to the map and do your shitty Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me a little nervous about what's going on. But Pete Hines and... Pete Hines has come out and said, like, just watch the E3 press conference and we'll show what we're actually doing. Although I think waiting for 2 weeks while all this misinformation is out there is a really dumb thing to do.
Well, that's why I'm wondering why they decided to do this at all. Why did they tease? They must have been getting ahead of a leak.
They did it with Fallout 4 as well.
Did they?
Yeah, they announced, like, Fallout 4 exists, watch E3. Like, they're just building hype so that everyone's talking about it.
The thing is, with Fallout 4, the only leaks that we were getting were like, this is a traditional Fallout game. Right? With this, we're getting, this is something very different, or at least somewhat different than what you're used to, and instantly everyone's thinking of the worst case scenarios for this stuff.
You gotta get out of the city, man.
Yeah. I was trying to get to the railroad, but I'll do it later.
One of the lead artist or lead character artist for Bethesda Softworks or Bethesda Game Studios. I don't know what the studio is called. Someone was voicing their concerns on Instagram, and he was like, "Don't worry, I don't think you'll be disappointed." Stuff like that. So I mean, there's hope that this.
I think a lot of it
dog shit.
I think a lot of it is that because it's not a traditional Fallout game, even people who have gotten like tidbits of information are still filling in the gaps with like, this isn't traditional. This is going to be like a Minecraft Battle Royale nonsense.
Yeah.
But I very much think it's going to be like if it's. I feel like it's going to be more akin to State of Decay than like a Battle Royale game or a Fallout game. And if it is, I'll be happy with that because
if I can play it by myself and it's more or less this,
fine. I
no
kind of like
issue
the
at
idea
all.
of
and I don't have to be online to play it.
some sort of main quest, but also a lot of it is just like do your own thing, build stuff, lore, explore, whatever.
One major concern I have is in one of the leaks it mentions that there won't be any support for traditional modding. It'll all be done through the Creation Club.
Ooh,
and I take a major issue with that.
It's going to make the community very upset.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a shitstorm.
I wonder if that's a test by Bethesda to see if they can get away with that in other games.
I was thinking that if it's like primarily co-op focused, then
I mean it does kind of make sense that modding won't be.
Yeah, they'll want. Like, it'd be much easier for Bethesda to have supported mods that you can then just click it and it shows up for everybody on your your co-op server or whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody,
if you want to play with this guy, make sure you buy this content.
Because I feel like people more like casual gamers will start playing it and be like, I can't play with my friend because they have this mod and I have this mod and it won't load.
Yeah.
But it's like if you have Creation Club, then you just. As soon as you join, it'll say you need these mods. You hit OK, and then it downloads them, and then you can join.
But you'll have to buy them then.
Yeah, the problem with Creation Club is that you gotta buy it.
Some of them are free, though, aren't they? Like there's premium ones.
They have free promotional stuff, but like the mods, modding is free. Like the whole Bethesda Net mods, those are free. Creation Club is premium content.
That gets into some weird territory then, because like. Your friend has a bunch of paid mods and you don't.
Yeah.
Can you not play together now?
Who knows?
So, the smart thing to do would be let you play with them, but you don't own them. You know?
Or well, then they would just buy like the best weapons in the game.
Why not do it kind of like how Minecraft does it, where there's a server, and you have
the mods are server side.
Yeah. That would be a way around that, so you can just join your friend's server. I guess,
but if it's very like co-op focused, I don't think you're going to want to have to create a server for it. I don't know.
I mean, you could host the game. I don't know.
If you could do that, it'd be cool. At least because then your friends could play when you're not online.
That means Bethesda has less control over it, though.
And that won't happen.
I don't think it'll happen.
Probably
Thanks,
not.
Todd.
Well, we don't know anything, so I guess
the
smart thing to do is to just wait for Bethesda's press conference. Imaginations are running wild, and I think it is absolutely in Bethesda's best interest to come out and say what they're doing with the game. It's like, hey, this is a Rust clone. Prepare yourselves. Or, hey, this isn't a Rust clone. Don't worry. You know?
Yeah.
It seems very short-sighted of Bethesda to be like, just sit tight.
Well, I guess because they've done it in the past and it's worked, but because this is totally expected by everyone to be something else, everyone is like, well, what is it?
The information is out there, and Bethesda's controlling none of it. Bethesda needs to get out there and start reining in the sheaves.
Well, I mean, we've been going on. We've been talking about Fallout for about half an hour now. So, do you want to move on to the next topic, or did you guys have anything else to say?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Whatever it is, I'll probably play it.
I just hope I'm able to play this solo.
Oh,
Speaking of solo,
I'm glad you did that. I will say we will talk about Fallout. Was that a Uguay or whatever the hell?
No, it was a mutant dog thing.
Speaking of just when
you're having sex with your boyfriend and he's like, "Bitch, Uguay."
Oh my god.
Speaking of Jamie Foxx.
No, we will be, of course, talking about the Bethesda press conference and all the other press conferences in our post E3 show. So,
tune in then.
So, speaking of solo, we went to see Jesus Christ. We went to go see Star Wars Stories Solo. Which is the new Star Wars movie.
Utter dog shit.
Did you think it was utter dog shit?
No, I enjoyed it.
I thought it was pretty good. I went in, now to be honest, I went in within really low expectations because I've heard so much bad news surrounding the production of this film, and of course every film has its setbacks, but it just seemed an abnormally large number of worrying setbacks around this movie. So, and especially some of like they needed to bring in an acting coach to get the male lead for the male lead because he was awful, and like they needed to do a bunch of rewrites and like just stuff that was not good. Like did not sound.
It really goes to show how absolute shit modern journalism is.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it was Disney themselves as well, because they were like, yeah, The Last Jedi is a perfect film, and then everyone was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit, well, they're gonna hate Solo. Fuck me.
But so I actually thought Solo was pretty good. I didn't.
Solo was one of the. It's up between this and Rogue One for the best movie that Disney has done.
Mind you, we don't know what Solo was before Ron Howard got to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, might have been dog shit.
Well, I mean, let's judge it on the final product that we saw, though.
Yeah.
Get away, dog meat. Yeah.
So we won't go into many spoilers unless Andrew spoils again.
Yeah, I mean, Thanos doesn't snap his fingers and kills half the universe.
Although I was really expecting that. That would have been so funny. Just like halfway through, just like Lando's like, I don't feel so good. I suppose the first thing I want to talk about is the acting. Everyone I thought did a really amazing job in this. Woody Harrelson did a really good job. Emilia Clarke did a good job. I forget the guy who plays Solo himself. He's new.
Alden Ehrenreich.
He did a good job.
Alden Ehrenreich.
There you go.
But the guy who did the best job by far was...
Don't yell at me, Rory. Probably right.
The guy who... Jesus Christ. The guy
Aldenreich.
Fuck me.
Was... oh my god, why can't I remember his name? Donald Glover, thank you. Who played Lando Calrissian. He did such a good job as Lando Calrissian that it was like genuinely a really nice performance to watch.
I've heard some complaints, and I don't know if I agree with them, but I see where they're coming from, where Alden made Solo his own, and Don Glover kind of was just mimicking what
Billy D. Williams was doing?
he had done. And I'm not saying I totally agree with that, but I do see where they're coming from, and I think it's a valid argument, because Alden doesn't do Harrison Ford as Han Solo. He does Alden as Han Solo.
Which was a little bit distracting next to Donald Glover, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
But, that being said, I thought that they both were fine, and I got the sense that... not the spoiling thing, but I got the sense that Han Solo was a different person now than when we see him at the beginning of Episode 4.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, obviously there's some core characterization that remains the same. Like, he's ultimately like a scruffy nerf herder with a heart of gold kind of thing. You know, like a scoundrel. He's a scoundrel, but he sticks up for his friends. Mm-hmm. That kind of a person. You get that sense, but you also get the sense that in this movie where he's younger, he's also way less world-weary. And at the end of the movie, there's a really nice moment that happens that kind of show, and kind of a cool callback to an in fandom joke surrounding the character. That's genuinely like it kind of shows like a nice character arc leading into the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. I thought was very well done. And Emilia Clarke's character was very interesting as well.
Yeah,
she had a really nice kind of arc as well that kind of mirrored Solo's really.
I think this was the only thing I've seen her in that hasn't been Game of Thrones.
That wasn't dog shit.
I didn't actually see Terminator, so I don't know what deal is there.
I haven't seen. I've heard that she was one of the better parts of Terminator.
Oh.
I heard that it was like the plot. It was really the plot and like the writing that let that movie down, and that she was one of the better parts. So I think in all the stuff that she's been in, she's usually good, but it's just she needs to fire her agent. Although she was good in this, and this was ultimately a good movie. Paul Bettany's in this movie as well.
He's great.
He plays the villain. Minor spoilers there, but you
Face
find
still
out
all fucked up from the end of Infinity War.
Yeah. And he does a good job.
I wish they had done more with his character, or at least expanded it a little bit.
Yeah.
His character was interesting, I thought.
It's a pretty cookie cutter bad guy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But I liked his the scars, and every time he got mad, they got more red, and his eyes went bloodshot.
It's kind of like when in the old KOTOR games when you went dark side, how your face would degrade.
Yeah.
What else did I like about? There were some really interesting visuals in this movie. So there's one part early in the movie where you get to see the Imperials fighting an actual ground war, like not just like fighting against like rebel spaceships.
Yeah, we see
fighters.
infantry instead of stormtroopers.
Because there is a difference between, like, the stormtroopers are not the only Imperial infantry units. There is an Imperial army.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, those don't look like stormtroopers. Oh shit, that's Imperial infantry.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I like that you don't
They
get to
look
see
pretty
much
cool
of it,
as
but
well.
I did like to see how the Empire would fight a traditional war as opposed to fighting against an asymmetrical war.
Yeah.
That was interesting, and there's a couple of cool shots. Like, every time you see, it's so great seeing, especially like a lot of the old, like, you know, fighters and ships and stuff, but especially the Imperial ones in shots that you've never seen them in. So like, it's in the trailer, so it's not spoiling anything. But there's a scene where there's an Imperial One Star Destroyer coming. Jesus Christ!
What is going on?
Coming out of a nebula, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Same as how the
over there.
one hanging over over Jeddah in Rogue One was cool, just to see the big hulking mass.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
I thought it was cool on spoilers, Corellia. We see one being constructed overhead.
Yeah, you missed that shot, Adam.
I
Adam decided to get popcorn like
Nice.
3 seconds before the movie started, so he missed
Yeah.
like the first 5 minutes.
Like 20 minutes before the movie started, I was like, do I want popcorn? 30 seconds before the movie started, he gets up and goes and gets popcorn.
At the second he leaves the theater, it's like Lucasfilm comes up. He's like, "All right, Adam picked a great time." But there's a cool shot near the beginning where you like the camera pans up through all the buildings and like wires and cables and shit, and you see like basically the skeletal structure of one being made.
that was in one of the trailers.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Some of the cinematography I felt was not great. Some of the shots were very dark.
Yes.
Like you couldn't even really see who you were trying to see.
That was mostly in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Although there was a few scenes near the
A couple
end.
scenes in the party. It's like everyone's in silhouette.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they did that.
That might have been just because they were like, "Oh, it's a dark and mysterious atmosphere," but it didn't work.
Well, because there was a Twi'lek in the background, and they weren't allowed to show the actual Twi'lek.
And that's something
We did get a Rhodian
we got a Rhodian and we got a Twi'lek, which is
for
nice
a
to
quarter
see.
of a second.
Yeah, and I will say there's a few elements in this that I don't. All right. So one of the elements I don't really like is how they introduced Chewbacca and how they
don't like
introduced
that?
the friendship. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good. But I prefer the original canon.
For people that don't know what that is, what happened there?
So in the original canon, correct me if I'm wrong, but Han Solo was a Imperial officer and a pilot in the Imperial Navy, and he ends up spotting a bunch of Wookiees, slaves being escorted to, I think it was towards the Death Stars where they were headed to, but I could be mistaken. And anyway, he tries to save them, and the only one he gets out is Chewbacca, and I think the rest die or they leave, but Chewbacca's like, I owe you a life debt for saving me. And Han Solo didn't do it because, you know, he was forced to. He did it purely because he felt bad for Chewbacca, and he did it out of the goodness of his heart. And I think that's very telling as a character, and that's actually why he left the Imperial Army in the first place. So I think that's better.
I think this works better for Han in this movie. Because he's still, like, you mentioned earlier how Alden is very much a different Han Solo. And I think that plays more into his character arc and him kind of early on not giving a shit even when he's, like, doesn't have anything.
Like, he gives a shit about one specific thing, and that's it.
Yeah, but, like, him all of a sudden getting this really big attachment to like freeing people, kind of, it almost like it doesn't matter to him. He joins the Empire kind of out of just necessity to get away, so that he can get back and find whatever he's looking for without spoilers. So I think that's better for this movie. But
I agree with you that it works better in the context of this movie, but I prefer the original story, and I would have wished that they kept elements of that more.
That's fair.
I think they kept some of them in towards the end where there was an event that happened. It really didn't have anything to do with like Chewbacca breaking free or whatever, but there was definitely an element of like, it's almost like they took chunks of that and then just stuck it later on in the film.
They could have brought some of that in on, I guess, more spoilers. on Kessel. If
is
Han had,
it spoilers if you know they're gonna do the Kessel run?
well, here, wait till I finish the sentence. If Han had helped Chewie free the other
yeah,
Wookiees,
Yeah.
it would have brought some of that back in. My only real complaint with the Han and Chewie thing is it happens too fast. If he was thrown into the dungeon, and it's like months later, is when they figure out how to escape. Like, it would have been cool if he goes in, and he doesn't know how to speak Wookiees. Right. If he doesn't know the language, and like they can't communicate, and over months Han kind of like figures it out, or at least somewhat.
yeah.
They figure out enough to at least somewhat communicate, and that's when they hatch a plan to escape the prison. That would have made the bond more believable, I think.
That's a better way to handle it. That's actually something that has been. It was better-ish in the original series, but not by much. Star Wars has always had really weird pacing when it comes to like relationships. So like, you never know how long Han and Leia spent on the Falcon inside the worm in the asteroid in Episode 5, and you never know how long Luke spent training under Yoda. But it wouldn't have been years; it would have been like weeks, a month at the most, kind of thing. And so it's interesting that they write their story in a way that's like, we're specifically setting up this relationship. So that it develops very, very, almost too quickly. But that's something that Star Wars has always had.
Yeah.
It's just gotten a little bit worse in these. Like, I know one of your major problems was that Rey doesn't spend very long with Luke, and suddenly she's very good at using the Force.
Well, my major problem is that she doesn't have to.
Well, let's not get into that. But, yes.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the movie, guys? Aaron?
Well, are we getting into spoilers or like?
Sure. Let's get into
I
spoilers.
mean, we're gonna
If you
dissect a little
want to
bit.
say anything,
Um,
you speak. I gotta pee again.
I
Ruining the podcast.
more or less thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe a little bit less action, a bit more narrative heavy than some Star Wars movies we've gotten. I think it was handled mostly well. I'm not a huge EU guy, so I don't know how a lot of it was originally, but I think this works well enough for what they were doing. My two biggest issues with the film is, number one, the origin of his name.
yeah.
It's almost like, well, we don't even know what Han's real last name is anymore.
No.
It's not Solo, apparently, because, it's spoilers, if you saw the film, Solo literally means he was by himself when he joined the Empire.
Yeah, so when he goes to join up with the Empire, because he's running away from a group of people, and he's like, the only way I can get out of here is if I literally join the Empire, because the group that people are chasing me are bad, but they're not going to take on the Empire, obviously. Yeah. So he goes to the recruiter, and he's like, I want to join up with the Imperial Army. He's like, great, what's your name? Han. You got a last name, Han? And he says, and he shrugs, and the guy's like, okay, Han Solo.
Well, he says, what's the name of your people? And he says, I don't have people, I'm alone. So he says, oh, all right, Han Solo.
Would have been cool.
Like, God damn it.
Do you think it would have been cool if he was like, Han, one person?
Han alone. It's like, and it's kind of just hammered home by the fact that the name of the movie is Solo. Like, you think Solo would have, like, okay, we're going to get the real, like, this is who Han Solo is. And it just turns out that Solo is something an Imperial officer said to him one time.
Yeah.
Oh, are we
Doesn't
talking
matter.
about how stupid that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I didn't like was, not in a whole, I know Andrew will say the robot, L3,
yeah.
Lando's robot, Lando's sex bot L3, or Elite, as the L337. That, I don't know, the character was a bit much. It felt obviously like it was some sort of social commentary, which
It
I mean,
almost got to the point where she was parodical. She was a parody of the whole thing.
I think what
A
they
little
were,
bit.
I think what they were trying to do with that character is they saw how successful K3SO
yeah,
was in Rogue One.
K2SO.
K2SO. K3SO
Much
was
better
his
name
brother.
than L3.
Yes.
37.
So K2SO was very obviously very popular, but I think that's because he was unlike all the other robots and the droids in Star Wars, which have been really kind of friendly and helpful, he was very dry and sarcastic.
Yeah, he was arrogant, but not in like a condescending way.
Yeah. So I think they were trying to replicate. They were like, we need a quirky robot character for this movie, and it fell flat. That's where I think it almost seems a bit shoehorned in. She also gets probably the most horrific fate I've ever seen someone get in a Star Wars story.
Yeah. So what I was getting into, I'm not dead yet, was that she's a little too on the nose. I think that character could have worked if you took some of those lines of dialogue out. The worst one, and probably the worst line in any Star Wars movie, is when they're on the Falcon and K3, or what? No, not K3. L3. You get me thinking about fucking Alan Tudyk now. She's on the Falcon, and Lando walks back, and he's like, can I get you anything? And she literally turns to him and says, equality. And it's like, Andrew...
Equal rights? Yeah, equal rights?
Andrew let out an audible, Jesus Christ. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's bad.
Thinking about it now, I'm actually okay with her becoming like part of the Falcon, because for her, being a slave to this inanimate object is a fate worse than death.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She gets
pulled apart piece by piece.
Yeah.
And then they take her brain and they're like, we need a nav computer for the Falcon. And they stick her in the
Use
Falcon.
this useless piece of shit.
And they stick her in the Falcon, and she's like, she's part of the ship now forever. She can't be removed. And like, Jesus. There's some fucking like body horror going on there. Like, I have no mouth and
I like that her cries for help are breaking things on the ship every now and then.
And when she becomes like sassy in episode 5, C-3PO just like rewrites her code.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's perfect. It's fine. I'm cool with that.
That was really my only two main gripes with the film. Other than that, I thought it was
there was a few
pretty enjoyable.
There was a few nods. Some of them to the older stuff. Some of them are better than others. Like, for example, at one point in the movie, they have to infiltrate into an evil bad guy's lair, and one of the characters is wearing the same outfit that Lando uses when he's infiltrating Jabba's palace. That same kind of guard get up, and I'm like, that's fine. That's because you get the sense that these
Gamorrean guard.
Yeah, these might be common costumes, and
also I'm pretty sure Emilia Clarke was wearing Lando's cape from 5 as well when Han went into her to rail her, and then Lando came in. It's like, what are you doing back here?
Lando's cape or Han's cape? Or Lando's cape?
Yeah, is that like the blue one with the black?
Cape.
Oh, Lando's cape.
Yeah.
Read my mind, Adam.
But there was a couple that fell flat as well. One of them being at the very beginning, Han is talking with some people and he's trying to bluff his way out, and he's like, "Well, you would say that if I didn't have a thermal detonator or whatever." Is it a thermal detonator? And it's just like he's holding a rock, is what he's holding, and I mean, me and Andrew locked eyes at that moment. We were like, is the whole movie just going to be throwbacks to the original series? And luckily it wasn't, and the few that we got were actually decent.
Yeah.
And there's one at the end that happened that was so subtle, I don't think a lot of people got it. And I don't want to say what it is because it's a pretty big spoiler, and I really don't want to spoil what happens because it'll spoil most of the movie for you. But
I don't even know what it is now. So that's a great point.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
But
I concur.
So
the relationship between Han and Lando was done very well in this.
Yes.
And I really like that this was a small story.
Yes.
Like the whole, like the set piece, the climax of the story is just in a room.
Yeah.
Which is great. You're not saving the universe from something.
At no point does Darth Vader come in twirling his mustache.
No.
And like, you know, like, because obviously Rogue One is such an important story in terms of like how it affects the universe. It's literally stealing the Death Star plans to set off the rest of the movies. But this one felt certainly much more like down to earth. You're right, where like if they had failed if they had failed in their quest, aside from Han dying affecting everything, this really wouldn't have affected anything at all. You know what I mean?
He probably wouldn't have ended up going to Tatooine, so he probably wouldn't have been in the other films.
Well, I mean, but what I mean is, like, if, let's say, Han lives and ends up going to Tatooine anyway, but they don't get the thing that they're after in the heist that they do, it wouldn't have mattered, really. In the long, in the terms of galactic history, so it was nice to see that kind of almost like an Ant-Man kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, nobody needed to see this movie This movie did not need to exist for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it does, and I think they did a decent job. It's a shame that Disney has been doing a piss poor job marketing this movie.
Yeah.
And as a result,
It's not.
it's not doing nearly as well.
I think that they failed. I think they were so they were so like lacking in faith in this movie that they.
I don't know why, because they marketed the hell out of The Last Jedi, and that was a friggin' shit show.
I think that's why.
I don't think they understand what people want to see.
Yeah.
I think that's their issue.
So, yeah.
They handled the
ultimately-
Falcon really well, as also.
I know a lot of people are going to say this, but I actually prefer, when they found the Falcon, obviously, it's still under the control by Lando, because it was originally Lando's ship. So the reason it looks new is because it's owned by Lando. I like how it looks under Lando's control.
It's basically brand new when Lando has
Yeah.
it.
You like the escape pod?
Oh yeah, I like the whole. I think it looks very sleek, and it genuinely, because the Falcon, when you see it in Episode 4, Luke is right to say what a hunk of junk.
Yeah, it gets real fucked up in this movie. It's cool.
Also, probably the most gruesome death I've ever seen in a Star Wars, in any kind of major film, let alone a Star Wars film, is at one point there's a creature that literally gets all of its skin sucked off of its body.
I think the largest monster or alien we've seen in this series.
Yeah, bigger even than the worm.
Yeah.
Whatever they were, the space worms. Certainly
Yeah.
bigger than the Wampa.
Science doesn't really exist in whatever galaxy they're in because they don't. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the hell a maelstrom is supposed to be in reality, but that doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah, I think it might have been like a, and I'm using air quotes here, a black hole, because originally the Kessel
that
Run
was supposed to be. I'm pretty sure, but they don't call it that. They call it gravity well or something.
Yeah. Anyway, final thoughts on Solo? Good movie,
Good
bad
movie, thumbs
Yeah.
up.
They made the 12 parsecs thing make sense. So
Yeah, except in The Last Jedi, Finn
Yeah, well,
uses parsecs as
God damn
the
it.
opposite of what this movie fixes.
Well, now we can just assume
But
that
Finn
Finn is
was
an
talking about
idiot.
Well, I already assumed that, because he acts like an idiot.
Now we can, now we
Yeah.
can just assume he doesn't know what he's
So-
doing, and he's trying to be like Han Solo.
So actively,
Let's
this
not
movie actively made characters that were already shitty even worse. So that's good.
You don't like Finn?
Not in The Last Jedi.
Well, he's warm ready. Anyway,
Great film.
so
He was good in The Force Awakens. I liked him in that.
let's. Do you want to move on and talk about there's a big event coming up that I'm getting kind of excited for?
Oh, you mean...
the Atari VCS announcement.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't it already been announced?
Yes, but you were saying a big thing coming up.
No, it's a E3 is happening next weekend, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Next weekend, yeah. The 10th through whatever.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, actually, the conferences are on the 10th and
No
the
help.
11th. But I don't think E3 starts until sometime during
I
that
think
week.
it's the
The conferences always happen before E3 starts.
But why not just include the conferences as part of E3?
Because the conferences are there to show what's going to be at E3.
Okay, but isn't that like the whatever? It's dumb, but whatever. Move on.
the show. Yeah, the conferences have usually been on the weekend, and then E3 starts on Monday.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in the last couple of years, they've just decided to move everything all over the place, and
Let's make it as inconvenient as humanly possible for everybody involved.
it's like, oh, you work during the week. Well, watch Sony's press conference at Monday night at like 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, all right, sweet,
Thank you.
it's great.
Why wouldn't they have the conferences start on Saturday, finish on Sunday, with one or two left over on Monday, and then have the rest of the week being about the actual show? Why wouldn't they do that? Who's planning E3 anymore? They all got their heads so far up their fucking ass.
I don't know. We're seeing more and more companies just screw off and do their own thing anyway.
Yeah, like
So.
Nintendo. So, there's a couple of big games that I'm excited to see more of, and I'm going to say one, and before you jump down my throat, let me explain myself here. Anthem. Now, let me explain myself here. The reason I'm
Jesus
excited to see
Christ.
Anthem is I like the idea of being in like an Iron Man suit and being able to wander around this huge open world and shoot missiles and stuff. Now, the fact that it's being made by BioWare, has.
I mean, so far you've said only positive things.
Yes.
I'm with you up to this point. Now ruin it.
it's being published by EA, and their track record, especially in recent years, is terrible.
Let me ask you something. Is this multiplayer and possibly like based on Destiny?
Yes. But I'm hoping that recent events in terms of how the public is perceiving stuff is going to modify EA's approach to this game. So it's gonna be what Destiny should have been, which is a really cool kind of co-op shooter with a heavy emphasis on story as opposed to a minimalist adventure with a heavy focus on loot boxes.
Yeah,
probably not.
Didn't BioWare come out and say, "Don't worry, Anthem won't suck"? And they've made only great games in the past couple of years.
Well, okay.
They've made good games. In fact,
they've
made their last game they made was a good game.
Was
Andromeda was a good game. It wasn't a great game.
Another game I'm excited to see is The Division 2, because I think that The Division 2 The Division was a perfect candidate for a sequel where it had a lot of really interesting ideas.
I don't think you can you?
I don't know.
It was a game absolutely fucking, in my opinion, mired by poor gameplay choices.
Oh no, you can't blow him apart because he's a synth.
Jesus. So I'm excited to see what they do with The Division 2, and hopefully they fix a lot of the issues I have with the game, because I'm genuinely interested in The Division, but as the game stands, as now, I really fucking hate the gameplay. I
don't understand that at all. Sandy really likes it and you hate it, and Sandy's all about like realism and shit.
I don't get it either. I really don't get it either.
I think it's a great game.
And you are, just as I'm open to my opinion, you're open to yours, and they differ in this case.
You don't have an opinion here.
You're entitled to your opinions.
I didn't do it. He killed himself.
Slaughter everybody in here.
Are they all synths?
No.
Sure, why not? Oh man, my
holy shit!
You got slaughtered. You were the slot-he.
I'm excited for. I'm
slot.
hoping that we're seeing something from Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
more than likely.
I don't know if they'll be in a press conference, but I know it's been confirmed they will be at E3.
Hopefully, I'm hoping they're going to be like the PC press conference.
They won't be at PC. They'll be in something big like Microsoft.
Star Citizen
or Sony.
will be though.
I'm thinking Microsoft.
I'd like to visit.
I'm thinking they'll be at the Microsoft conference.
I'm hoping to see Starfield, or whatever that game is from Bethesda, the new space game.
There's speculation now whether or not Bethesda is going to be like if Fallout 76 is going to be the big game this year, or are we going to see maybe Starfield as well?
I guess.
Maybe they're going to go like all in. It's like, hey, here's everything. There was a E3 quote unquote leak that they're going to announce the next test game as well. We're just like, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's probably just going to be some stupid card pack expansion.
Who knows? Remember that game award show that Todd came out, and it's like the first announcement of Skyrim, and then Skyrim came out a long time after. So I don't know. And the speculation is we're still going to get that Fallout 3 remaster this year as well. So who knows what Bethesda's going to show. I think I'm most excited to see just what Bethesda is going to show this year, because last year was really lackluster.
Yeah. Well, last year they were worse than show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Death Stranding, which is confirmed for the Sony press conference.
Yeah.
That one I'm really excited for.
Real excited for that.
I'm excited to see. I doubt we're gonna get it, but I'm hoping we're gonna get teased something new with Halo. Probably not gonna see it, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, we'll get a live demonstration of the Dave and Buster's Halo arcade kit or whatever.
They wheel it out.
Yeah. And
then it's like
super cringy people.
Super
playing
overacted. Yeah.
Oh, you got me! Oh, watch out on your left! Circle, half circle B, or I don't know. Whoa, check your six! That was really good.
Stop giving Phil ideas.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to see something from Kingdom Hearts that isn't what we've already seen. But that's mainly because I want to see motherfucking Mike Wazowski. So
Is Monsters Inc. going to be in this?
oh yeah, it's confirmed. So
That'll be interesting. That would be interesting.
There's a lot of confirmed stuff. I think like Monsters Inc. is confirmed. Like all the classic Disney stuff has already been in there, but Monsters Inc. is confirmed. I think Incredibles is confirmed. There's a bunch. There.
Last of Us 2. Hope we see some of that. Maybe. I don't know if we will.
I think in Kingdom Hearts. I'm like probably not.
Oh no, not in Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah,
I think we'll see at least a trailer for Last of Us 2.
I'm thinking we're gonna see some gameplay.
We might.
What?
For Last of Us
2.
I think we're gonna
maybe.
see some gameplay.
Yeah,
And I think we're going to see gameplay from Death Stranding. I think that's why it's at E3. Is that that's going to
definitely seeing gameplay from Death Stranding.
it's either going to open or close out the conference for Sony. Is the probably close it? Is the gameplay? It's like, and also like Hideo Kojima's going to come out and it's like one more thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be like an extended gameplay for Death Stranding.
What else has Sony got? Days Gone.
Spider-Man, is that coming out?
Spider-Man. Might see that. We're
Spider-Man,
definitely going to
Days
see a
Gone.
trailer for Spider-Man. And
Must be some gameplay or something.
Days Gone.
What about Jurassic Park Evo? Do you think we're gonna
That'll
see
be
that?
out before
will it?
E3. It comes
Okay.
out on the 6th, I believe.
Woo!
So that'll be out
Excited for that.
Tuesday.
Cool.
Yes, that's cool. They might have something. Frontier is going to E3, so they'll have something. Whether or not it's Jurassic World Evo or something to do with Elite, the next expansion, that's coming out at the end of June, so they might have something with that.
I'm surprised they're not pushing the launch of Jurassic World Evo. They didn't push it to after E3, so they could get free advertisement with E3.
It's probably Universal want them to release it alongside the movie.
Probably, yeah. Actually, that's a good
So-
point. So that's when is Vampire coming out?
Soon, real soon.
Very soon as well. I think it comes out on the 5th. I think.
Shit, I'm gonna. It's two big games I'm gonna buy.
Yeah.
I think I already bought that a while ago.
Vampire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get both because when I get tired of Vampire, I'm gonna switch over to Evo because Evo is gonna be my like relaxing game.
It looks pretty cool. They showed some gameplay from like the later islands that you can unlock if you do the story mode.
Yeah.
There's a sandbox mode as well if you just want to screw around, but there's a story mode and it looks pretty cool. Like you kind of just inherit like a lot of these places already have pre-built parks on them. And there's one later on where like everything is shut down and it's like really, I don't know, the atmosphere looks really cool. It's very much like a Jurassic Park or World movie.
I'm convinced that I will be able to run my park with zero issues unless the game throws deliberate bullshit at me because they're just animals. It's not hard.
Just spare no expense.
Well, sometimes there's storms and power goes out and stuff like that. And
You know how you fix?
There's
You know how you
scenarios.
make sure that the T-Rex can't get out of its paddock? You put the paddock about 20 feet down, and suddenly he can't get out because he can't jump at all. And suddenly, bam, the T-Rex can't get out of his paddock. Damn, I've solved your fucking problem there. Maybe you should have done that. It's
Yeah.
fun. Do the same with the Brachiosaurus. Put them down. Put
but you need a way. You need a way to get in there.
Yeah, and that's why you have a human, like you have a door, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex-sized door. That's like put like 5 different locks on it, like massive locks, and then have like 2 doors, like one and then a little space and then another one, kind of like an airlock situation. So there's no way that the T-Rex can get out unless somebody deliberately lets him out. In which case, trank it. Like have a team of dudes just with trank guns at all times because it's just an animal. A T-Rex is just an animal, but a very dangerous one. Like it's as dangerous as a tiger would be, where it can kill people if it gets out. So
Are you
trank it.
excited for Jurassic World 2? Where they're still just animals, except they're all like super evil now?
They're super predator. I like. Okay, first off, just because I'm talking about it, apparently in Germany there was 2 lions, 2 tigers, and a jaguar broke out of the zoo, and they're running amok in Germany. So.
Cool.
Yeah, but so in Jurassic World, not to get away from E3 for a little bit, but which is exactly what I'm doing. They're like, we've created the world's most powerful predator, the ultimate weapon, and it's just like some like big fuck off raptor, and I'm like, how is this any more effective than a predator drone? It's like, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but at no point will a predator, unless like the robot apocalypse happens, there's no point will a predator drone turn around and eat the fucking handlers.
I want to see a scene where they send it to like Iraq.
It just gets shot immediately.
Yeah, you see it like bound across the desert. You just see the soldier.
You don't even hear the shot.
Takes a rocket.
Yeah.
just drops aside. And is like, oh shit!
Yeah.
Steps on a landmine and blows up.
Instantly killed.
That's $20 billion in R&D down the
They
drain.
release it as, there goes the best damn soldier.
It seems kind of dumb in the movie for them to be like, "This is the most dangerous thing we've ever made." Like, why? Why? What's the point?
Does it have guns on it? Because if it doesn't, then I'm pretty sure a tank is automatically more dangerous.
Doesn't make any sense.
What they should have made was just like turrets to put on the backs of like Triceratops and stuff.
Make them Zoids.
Sure.
You know what would have been a better idea for a movie? Instead of being like, oh, we're making these for
The
weapons.
dinosaur apocaline.
Just have Dr. Wu go crazy because he's already shit at his job. He's like, I've created the most perfect dinosaur. and that one gets out because then you're like, well, at least he went, like, there's a reason why this thing is so, like, dangerous and stuff because some fucking whack job geneticist made it, like, made an evil monster. Like
Bring
a
back the
Frankenstein thing.
shitty raptor-human hybrid plot that they had going on originally.
No. Please no. Although those did look cool. I saw some of the concept art for them. They kind of look cool.
It would have, I mean, it would have been cool if it wasn't Jurassic Park. Like if it was its own thing.
But kind of getting back to E3 because not to go on a massive tangent. I'm excited for both Vampire and Vampire, and for
Oh shit!
yeah, you're fucked is what you are.
I didn't know there was that much of it.
And I'm excited for Jurassic Park Evo. But those are coming out before E3, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this Pokemon thing Nintendo's talking about. They've teased a new game to take place in Kanto, and I don't think we've gotten really a lot of that. And I think we're also going to get some Smash Brothers.
A new game?
Switch. Yep.
Is it just gonna be the same game again though?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be the same game, but it's on the like people are holding out hope that it's gonna be something like Pokemon Coliseum 2, or there was actual story going on, but it's not. It's just gonna be Pokemon again because Nintendo likes.
If there's no new Pokemon in it, then there's nothing new.
No,
it's like the traditional Pokemon RPG, isn't it?
No,
It's not.
They're pretty sure they're just recreating the first game, but like in like.
What do you mean? Like Pokemon on Game Boy?
Yeah, the thing they're.
That's what I'm saying. A traditional Pokemon RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I wouldn't really call it a role-playing game because you can't really play a role
it's
from.
it's an RPG in the sense that Final Fantasy is an RPG.
Yeah,
you're
at least in that you're in a role.
Well, you're in a role in Pokemon as well.
All
you're
right.
the trainer.
Anyway, we're arguing over stupid semantics here. But yes, it is a. It will be.
It's a JRPG.
Yeah, it's people are thinking it's been teased that it's like just a remake of Red and Blue but for the Switch.
Okay.
Which is really interesting,
That sounds neat.
but I think it's a missed opportunity where they could have had a really interesting game with a pretty cool story. Not that like you want like a super dark game when it comes to Pokemon, but I mean Pokemon Coliseum and Coliseum 2, child-friendly game, but had a pretty interesting story at least when it comes to Pokemon. And I feel like the audience has been clamoring for that for years. I think that they should just go ahead and make that. It wouldn't even be that hard to make a Pokemon like with a more serious story. But
yeah, well, I mean, I guess this will be like the first Pokemon game on an actual console. Then, even though I guess Switch kind of isn't really a traditional console, but
certainly the first one since Coliseum.
Something you can play on a TV, yeah.
Aside from the occasional fighting game and like Pokemon like Stadium and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, Coliseum's not really a regular Pokemon game, is it?
No, not really.
Coliseum 2 had a story, didn't it?
Oh.
They both had a story.
The first one had a story?
Yeah, the second one was better, but
I'm not familiar with it.
But they were also not traditional Pokemon. Like the battling system was different than
yeah. But I know Coliseum 2, you could like walk around and stuff, right?
Yes.
You were playing as a character and you could walk around.
I'm pretty sure you played a character in the first one too.
I don't remember that in the first one.
It's been so long since I played them. I definitely know because the second one had like Dark Lugia and the XD Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
Gale of Dark, Pokemon Coliseum 2 XD Gale of Darkness, I think it was called, because the Japanese love their long convoluted names. Anyway. I think we're gonna get Silent Hill Pachinko. And we're definitely going to see, because Square's got a conference this year, right?
Yeah, we'll see some...
Probably see some, we'll definitely see some Tomb Raider, because we'll see that at the Xbox conference as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But we'll also probably see a lot of Kingdom Hearts, and I'm guessing there's going to be Final Fantasy something or other.
I hope we see some of the Marvel stuff that they're doing. because they're the ones
that'd be nice.
doing the Marvel
Oh, yeah.
games. Hopefully,
I'm 2 months.
hopefully Eidos can get their Marvel game out and start working on Deus Ex again. They can appease their evil overlords.
Make
And
an
they
Iron
can
Man
get back
game.
to making actual video games again.
I don't know. I think they could do a cool Marvel game.
Sure, I'd rather Deus Ex.
Make an Iron Man game.
Humanity would rather Deus Ex.
I know they're probably like 3 years into development, but make an Iron Man game.
Yeah.
Speaking of just Marvel games, so when I don't have ad blocker on my phone for YouTube, so like ads come up. One of the ads that's been coming up lately is Marvel Battle Squad. It's like a terrible MOBA game.
Yeah.
But there's a trailer for that
This is my new base.
in the and it begins with they're on a Quinjet. And you see this random dude who looks like every protagonist ever, like that male, strong-jawed, stubble kind of dude. And he's just like, I don't have superpowers. I went to medical school. And like he's talking about like why he's on the squad. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Why are you on the squad? Your entire superpower seems to be I'm a medic. And the people who are assembled on the squad are really weird. It's Drax, Elektra, Captain America, and Thor, and then this one random medic dude. I'm like,
Cool.
what a weird combination of characters there.
Shitty
They'd be like, all right, we need the ultimate Star Wars team. So I need Ezra from Star Wars Rebels, and I need Jyn Erso from Rogue One, and I need Rey from the later movies, and I need Lando Calrissian. And it's just like, it's a weird group of people to have in a story together. I mean, I'll allow it, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Isn't that like the Force of my anus or something? What's the cartoon that they're
Force
working
of
on?
my anus.
The Star Wars Force stories or something?
That sounds like the Force of my anus. Sounds like a parody soap opera done in Star Wars. We'll be right back with the Force of my anus. I think you found the title for the podcast, Aaron.
Yeah. I don't know. It's some
The
cartoon.
porn parody should be the Force in my anus.
You mean Star Wars Heroes of the Force?
No, it's some like 3-minute long cartoon short
Yeah,
thing.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, Heroes of the Force.
Yeah, I think Adam's
Is it?
right.
I think it's something else. Anyway,
It's not the Force in my anus.
it sounds like it's something Force. So
Yeah, Heroes of the Force.
But Jyn Erso and Lando don't have the Force.
It doesn't matter.
But so why are they in it? Anyway, everyone in it's like it seemed
I'm not
like
gonna say why, but
Forces
we all
of
know
Destiny.
why.
Forces of Destiny. Okay, there you go. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what that is, isn't it? Just random heroes talking about stuff for a couple minutes.
Usually focusing on Star Wars female characters.
Yeah,
Like how they
kinda-
talk. One of them is Jyn Erso, and it's
I
just
thought
like,
that was a bit like why I saw the commercial for it, or the trailer or whatever, and it's like why is everyone in this female? Like, okay, I get the idea
Star Wars
that
isn't for you anymore.
I guess I get the idea that
that.
like you need more female heroes and stuff, but all of the Star Wars movies, apart from Solo, has a female main character. Why do you need to make a cartoon where all the main characters are females? I don't know, it's just it seems like okay, you're shoving this feminism down my throat now.
What I mean
get
is,
it.
it's not being marketed for you anymore. They're
Yeah, I
marketing
know.
to other markets.
But it's still like Jesus. All right, chill out with the feminism. Like I get it, but chill
Well,
out.
that's pretty sexist.
Nah, you
So
it's sexist that they don't advertise any male heroes.
That's sexist, Aaron.
No, it's not.
Stop thinking
Men
wrong.
are people too.
Don't think wrong. Hey,
Hashtag
Jamie Foxx.
Whip out your dick.
Did you know that Jamie Foxx has
As a
been
penis?
casted
No, he's
as
not. He's not a female.
Spawn?
casted.
Yeah, he's been cast as Spawn.
Okay.
He's not a
Casted?
female.
That's a pretty good choice, I think.
Yeah, I think
Nah,
so.
he's not, doesn't have boobs or a vagina. No good. 0 out of 10. So I
That's
suppose
not-
you
I
don't
think
need boobs or a vagina to identify as female. More power to you, Jamie. I'm very proud of you.
So go to hell, Michael J. White. You've outlived your usefulness.
What was he originally cast?
He was the first Spawn
Oh,
in the Spawn movie.
I mean, that was like 20 years ago.
That was a fun movie.
That was a fun movie.
So Jamie Foxx respawned.
I guess the last one we talk about is
Michael J. White died and respawned as Jamie Foxx.
Bring up Atari.
That should be a spin-off comic.
Bring up the what?
So yeah, the Atari, the thing that that they announced.
You gotta pee? Oh.
What's he doing?
He just got up.
Oh. The thing they announced a while back, that Atari console thing. We were like, what the hell is this thing? Apparently, it's just like every game they've ever made, put onto a modern console, remade controls, with a interesting interface, and that's basically it.
So like a Super Nintendo Mini.
Kind of, yeah, but redesigned to be more modern looking.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it looks okay if you're all about Atari games. Then I guess it's interesting. It looks to be well made. I don't know that I give a fuck about it though.
I mean, Atari games. Have you ever gone back and played an Atari game?
Not really.
I have.
They're primitive.
Very primitive. Still fun.
Oh yeah.
If I mean, you can look past. If you don't need shiny graphics.
No, but
they're fun games.
I would say it's fun, but it doesn't hold my interest.
Yeah, it's something I'd like play in a web browser for a couple minutes. You know, I'm not buying a $200 console or whatever this thing costs to play.
Although I still think,
games.
like, obviously very important for games history.
Yeah, I mean, this is for old men.
Yes.
That's the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
if you're not an old man, you're probably not going to buy this.
Or for geek bars to install and like, hey.
Yeah, hipster bars,
Yeah.
geek bars.
No, I think it's too modern looking for hipsters. They just have an actual Atari
Fallout.
Jaguar.
What is that? We only play original Atari cartridges.
But you can get Fallout.
We only play vintage video games.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be on a modern console. They just have a regular
Yeah,
Atari.
I suppose so. But maybe it's more for like those fake hipster geek bars. They're
I think it's just for
hipster,
old people.
but they're not like. They're hipster because being hipster is popular now.
Maybe. I think it's
But they're
more
not
for,
real hipsters.
more for people who grew up with those games and don't have the console anymore.
Yes, and old men.
Yeah.
And old men. That's the
basically
audience.
old men, yeah.
Speaking of, just I suppose one more thing before we go. D&D published its new supplement this week.
Oh, yeah.
The new book. I have it here. It is Mordenkainen's Tome of
Hashtag
Foes.
ad.
We are being sponsored by
are not.
Wizards of the Coast.
I wish we
week.
were. But basically, in this book, it details the first half of the book details 4 different conflicts between various races in like the Forgotten Realm setting that you can adapt to your own D&D setting if you wish. So like they go into like the blood wars between demons and devils, and then they talk about like the wars between elves, and then the Githyanki. And then they talk about what the last one is. What was the last one? And then they talk about gnomes for some fucking reason. Oh yeah, dwarves and Duergar. And then they talk about halflings and gnomes. Like here's all these epic wars throughout the universe of D&D, and also here are some halflings and gnomes who specifically don't engage in war. And I'm like, why is this in this book at all? And then the final half of the book is a bestiary. So they add, I think, like over 100 new monsters. And whereas the first monster manual, we've really only gotten 3 expansions for big expansions when it comes to adding new monsters to the book. To the D&D 5th edition. There was the original monster manual, which had a good basis. It covered everything from 0 to 30 challenge rating, so it had a nice coverage for every level that your party could play as. And then there was Volos, which focused a lot on lower levels, so from 0 to 10 with some like mid-range, but I don't think there was anything too powerful. This book... Sorry. Go back and do like a slow motion, like Adam just did a stupid there, Aaron.
Sweet.
This book focuses a lot on very high tiered monsters, so a lot of like 15 to 26. So there's a lot of like demon lords in here. They stat Orcus and Demigorgon. There's a couple of demon princes and devil lords. There's some powerful outsiders like the astral dreadnought. There's a couple of very powerful, just regular kind of like fiends in there. They have powerful new elves and like cultists and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. I would pick this up only if you're pretty serious about role playing, like into D&D. If you're just a new DM getting into the game, you do not need this book. This is
unless you want to start off at a high level.
Don't. If you're a new DM, start off at level 1. Level 1 exists for a reason.
Maybe you're a masochist.
Okay, my recommendation is to don't do that, but this is good for high level. That's what I would recommend it for. If you're DMing a high level party, or your party will eventually get in there, or if you just want to like look through and get some ideas for like future campaigns. And
Maybe
stuff.
you just like D&D.
Yeah.
And you want to read stuff.
But this is like definitely like don't pick this up as like your one of the first books that you pick up. There are better books out there for new DMs. This is definitely for like higher tier parties, and a lot of the monsters are quite insidious. Like there's one where the party the creature once per round makes the psychic scream, and it has a DC 20 fail, so you have to roll plus your modifier a 20 on a 20-sided die, and if you fail, you get 1 point of exhaustion, and if you get 6 points of exhaustion, you die.
Cool.
And that happens once per round. So these are pretty tough monsters, so you definitely don't want to be throwing this at a party that is very inexperienced. So
Oh, jeez, I'm so tired.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You're so tired you die.
Well, like
Oh, die of exhaustion.
it's also pretty fucking horrific. It looks like
Can you just go to sleep instead of dying?
well,
I like
it
in
drains you.
D&D where you end up having some sort of character that does like I don't know, I guess they can intimidate or something, and that somehow does damage. I don't know the specifics.
Yeah.
But it's happened a couple times in
cutting words?
something like that. I think it might
What is
be
it?
in
What's
a
the
Critical
bard's-
Role.
Yeah, that's
Where-
it's not intimidation. It's a psychic attack, but it's
Oh, okay.
it
It's just
is-
weird.
it-
Sometimes, like Scanlan in the old campaign, he would like talk a guy to death.
yeah.
It's like he's just like you're a poopy head, and he just like falls over dead. Like so stupid.
So yeah, that's my I haven't gotten into this so far. So a lot of the book, the first part of the book is really interesting when it goes into like the different like lore of like the different major factions, like some major factions. So like it goes into demons and devils pretty heavily, and they also do some stuff with Githyanki, which is interesting. And there's a lot of Drow in here as well. So there's some interesting stuff in here, but it's definitely not a necessary book. This is more like a cool little extra if you're willing to buy it. And like the D&D books are already pretty expensive, so. Anyway, that's my recommendation. You don't need it, but if you're really into D&D or you have like a high level party, definitely pick it up.
Cool. That'll probably do it, I guess.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us. Join us next week.
potentially next week. There's something going on in real life that we might not be
It
able
won't
to do.
be. It won't be next week.
What?
Well, are you talking about Jordan's thing or something else?
That's not next week. That's the
Oh,
week after.
join us next week.
Join us next week when we continue to speak on these things.
and experience excellent frame rate.
Yep. Nice work, Todd. We'll see you next time. Bye.
just looked like the world outside was moving.
Yeah, probably.